Alright guys, we continue to track dangerous Hurricane Irene as she still is churning straight towards the eastern U.S. coast. Here's a detailed look at Irene. Here's the satellite imagery. You can well see the inflow here. And here's a better look at it, Irene. You could see the eye wall replacement cycle is going on, and you can see the swirl here. That is exactly what is going on. That's the eye wall replacement cycle. And here's the inflow here. It's trying to get its act together, trying to get a well-defined eye going. You can see all the convection blowing up on the northern side, the eye trying to develop in here, and you can see the only dry air is on the western side of the storm, all moisture around the storm. So really watching the storm very carefully as Irene is currently heading over the Bahamas. Hurricane force winds are felt 70 to 100 miles away from the storm. Some recon reports are saying, and this is the tropical storm force wind field. There's the center. From here to here, 240 miles away from the center, 240 miles away. So you saw yesterday the models were trending a little bit like this. Now they're back west of Connecticut. That would absolutely cream us. I'm not trying to scare anyone. I'm just trying to let everybody know this would really impact Connecticut, as we do have the northern right quadrant. If you watched my video yesterday, I did explain it. Just imagine it as a piece of a pie split into 4 pieces. The north right quadrant. So this quadrant right here of the hurricane is the most dangerous, with the strongest winds and the heaviest rains. And if that came up like this, we would get the north right quadrant of this hurricane, which would be very dangerous. This was updated yesterday. No idea why it's in here. Let's move on to this model page. You can see that all of the models are in agreement until Cape Hatteras, and then they don't know what to do with themselves. Remember, guys, it's been trending to the east, and then back to the west, and then trending back to the east, and now they're starting to trend back to the west. So many models have a landfall coming straight through Long Island and into central Connecticut. Now, a couple meteorologists are comparing this to the Long Island Express in the Great Atlantic Hurricane of 1944. They are comparing it to, and the Long Island Express. So really watch the storm, guys. You can see the HPC. Look at all of that rain. That is close to 12 inches of 12.7 inches of rain, where you see that X there. That is just offshore. So you can see these greens. This is 9 to 12 inches of rain falling on the western side of the storm. Here we go now. Cape Hatteras, 89% chance for tropical storm force winds. 33% chance for Cape Cod, 46% for Long Island Sound. Ocean City, about a 53% chance. You can see now 100% chance northern right quadrant of the storm for hurricane force winds. You could see now not a category 4 in sight, but if it was to be one, this is the time frame you would have to look at. Friday morning, you could see it has a 14% chance, and you could see 125 mile an hour winds. It will be a hurricane. Not a Category 1, not a Category 2, probably a Category 3 hurricane. And then after that, it starts to weaken as it gets into warmer waters. There's the time frame. AM Sunday, 100 miles an hour. When it makes landfall on Monday, this is in Vermont, Massachusetts, 65. And then 8 AM Tuesday, 50. So, really got to watch this. Here is the land interaction, right about here. Right about there is the land interaction. And after you see that, it just completely falls. Alright? All of these models just completely fall. And then as they start to move off of the land out of Canada, they expect it to regenerate a little bit more. So really watching this, as you can see on the radar moving through Puerto Rico, and then you saw a well-defined eye on the radar there, moving through the Bahamas as a Category 3 hurricane, and then you see outer bands moving onto Florida. We're not expecting a direct landfall. There is Irene right down there. Storm surge. The darker blues are the lesser storm surge, but here you see the almost the teal. Yeah, the teal. Where you see the teal, about 25 feet waves. 25-foot waves, guys. So you really have to be careful. All of the outer banks of North Carolina, all through here, need to evacuate. There are state of emergencies out. There are mandatory evacuations going on in eastern North Carolina. So, guys, if you are told to evacuate, please do so. Here's the Hurricane Irene surface wind observations from the Hurricane Hunter aircraft from the National Hurricane Center. You can see all the yellows. That is Category 1 strength. Alright, so we're seeing Category 1 strength around the eye. So around the eye wall, you see the strongest winds. And the strongest winds are, once again, in the north right quadrant. So this is where the strongest winds are. And you can see Category 1 force winds right there. Historical tracks, you can see this is where Irene started, right about here. And then it took a track through Puerto Rico, and then just right like this. As of today, it's supposed to be doing. It could go anywhere, to be honest with you. It could go west of Connecticut, into Connecticut, or in eastern Massachusetts. Really have to watch this. So historically, you had a lot of landfalling hurricanes in tropical systems where Irene is. Wind shear is very low. You'll find higher wind shear well offshore, and you can see pretty low wind shear here in the northeast, but this low-level jet, you see this dip here, that is a low-level jet that is also called a trough. That will be 30, 40, 30, 50 knot wind shear. That will help tear apart the storm. So you can see environment is favorable. Just the north side, we just really got to pay attention to as it may be getting sheared out. And one thing I haven't mentioned this entire video, we have another tropical depression out here. That is Tropical Depression 10. It is expected to move away from all land. So do not be afraid by Tropical Depression 10. It will move out and then weaken. So really don't worry about it. Irene, this one is what we got to worry about. So you can see favorable environment, and as it turns, more favorable environment all along the northeast. Waters, this is 90 degrees right there. This pink is 90. This black line is 80. So you can see 80 degree waters. 80 degrees is what a hurricane needs to keep its strength. And as it moves out of those our 80 degree waters, it's going to move into Connecticut, or move into eastern Mass, New York, and it will still be a pretty powerful hurricane. My track right now stays at 3, hits as a 2, and then comes in as a 1, and then a tropical storm. What am I calling for threats? Well, it's once again on a scale of 1 to 5. I've downgraded to a 2 for southeastern Cuba, Haiti, and the Dominican Republic. A 4 for the Bahamas as the storm is pushing away in the northeast, the north right quadrant is away from the storm, the actual Bahamas. 4 for Florida, as they're going to be seeing some pretty strong rip currents along with the outer bands moving in. 4 for South Carolina. I might downgrade that to a 3, as I do not think that Irene will come close to Georgia and South Carolina. I'm giving it a 4. I might upgrade it to a 5 for North Carolina, as we can see some pretty catastrophic flooding from the waves. Even though Irene is still out here in the Bahamas, we are still getting some 7-8 feet waves here in Wilmington and the Outer Banks of North Carolina. So the waves could go over 20 feet as Irene approaches, and 4 for New England. You can also cover Irene, www.ctclimate.com, also on Twitter, twitter.com/geosweather, GOEEOS_SNE weather. Thank you for watching, everyone. Have a great day.